Here we go now. A case of beer, some barbecue. There's no doubt that I'm better than you. With these looks and these moves, you can't blame me for being so rude. The land of the red, white, and blue will be my home till the day I die. I'm every lady's fantasy. I'm the American guy.
Check. Testing 1, 2.
Is where I'm from. You better believe I have about 27 guns. Baseball games, pickup trucks. I'm leagues above you other dumb schmucks. I'm from where the women are hot and the Twinkies are deep fried. And every day I pledge allegiance to God and country. I'm the American guy.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast. My name is Grant Bachoco, and it is exciting to have you here today. This is the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, episode number 59, the podcast that I swear is not on horse dewormer. Before we begin, I do want to give a special shout out to all the patrons who make the videos on this channel and the other content from Saturday Morning Media possible, and a special shout out to the patron producers Dorothy Bachoco, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, David Akers, who is not a football player, and Vicky Sebring. So thank you to all those patrons. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a super fun show for you tonight, and I am pleased to welcome a very special guest to the show. My guest is a high-ranking official at Filsinger Games headquarters and is the man who packages all those little white envelopes you get in the mail from Filsinger Games. Would you please welcome the tournament master himself, Todd Joerchel. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Oh, it's great to be on, Grant. Thank you for having me on tonight.
I'm excited for this big roll-up Filsinger Games Fan Podcast crossover episode.
Yes, indeed. You know, that's one of the things I like about the podcasting world is, you know, so many people have different, spins on different subjects, but it's always cool to kind of see the crossovers, people kind of jumping on each other's podcasts and kind of collaborating. It's always kind of cool, the different types of conversation that you get up to.
Yeah, exactly. It is. And definitely within the past year, there has been an explosion, before we had Mark Ashby, who sort of did the very first podcast. And we've had people there, Steve Tower forever has been streaming his games on YouTube and stuff. But it certainly seems in the past year, there's been an explosion of not only podcasts, but people playing the game online and getting it out there more than it ever has been.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, it's great. There's, 3 podcasts that are going out there weekly between the Filsinger Games Fan Podcast, the Roll Up, and the Uncharted Territories. It's great to see the Dizzy Dice podcast is back there. So, they all kind of have a different, a place within the Filsinger Games universe and kind of bringing everybody together. During just a really strange time that it's weird that so many people are kind of feeling far apart from each other, but I think the Filsinger Games community kind of feels closer together.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's your recent episode that came out this week was a deep discussion on Thantos. And, whenever I download a new podcast, I look at the running time. How long is the podcast? And I think, yours was like an hour and a half or something like that. And to me, it's like, yeah, I'll listen to 3 people sit around and talk about Thanos for an hour and a half, because I love...
There's some other stuff in there too, but,
There is. But, like sometimes the Uncharted Territories get long. If I'm really into a subject, I mean, there's a podcast about vintage Walt Disney World that I listen to, and sometimes they have like 2.5 hour long episodes, and I'm with it the whole time. My wife thinks I'm insane, but I'm in it for the whole run, So I think if you have a specific, genre like this or a topic, you have diehard fans, and they want to hear discussion about it all the time.
Oh, absolutely. It's a really cool kind of being able to share a passion that you have. And, if you're not able to share it with somebody immediate there, being able to kind of hear about it and hear discussion about it, I think just reinforces, how much you enjoy that hobby.
Yeah, and I definitely think too, getting all this stuff out there definitely opens it up to new fans,
Yep.
because I've had several people on videos I've posted on the channel or something like that says, "Oh my God, this game looks great! I'm going to order it." Hopefully we're sort of evangelizing as
Yeah,
well.
no. No, you've done a great service with your YouTube channel, just kind of doing all the breakdowns of all the different, sets that are out there and different characters, across the different legends and indie sets and champion sets and kind of some of the how-to videos on different things with the toolbox and stuff like that. I think you've done a great job putting that out there. And, so many other different people have also done so many things to kind of keep this community going. Yeah, so like back in the day, it was Mark Ashby kind of getting everybody together with the Super Report, and since then there's been so many other people that have contributed so much to kind of keep this game going and thriving and finding new people to just keep it going.
Yeah, excellent. It's and it's funny just how with every new technology, Filsinger Games will find its way in. I'm waiting for the Filsinger Games TikTok account whenever that pops up. You have to get your kids to help you with that one. It's been a lot of fun. Now you are someone who, as I mentioned in your intro, really, like, I would say the backbone of Filsinger Games, because when there's a new game release and things like that, you are the one sort of boots on the ground who gets the games out into people's hands. And
Yep.
I just picture, do you have this room in your house that is just packed full of Filsinger Games stuff?
There is some number of shelves in the garage that has some of like the back inventory kind of like vacuum sealed and stuff like that. So at least some of the old ones might not be. They might be rubber banded up. Ones I got from Tom, before the transition. But so I have a storage there, and then I have some stuff up here just to kind of access quicker
Right.
as things come out. But it's a lot, of stuff there. But and I say since the pandemic, obviously, interest has picked up. People looking for other things, and definitely, I think legends of wrestling in particular, and even through like people like yourself and Steve Tower getting content out there, or finding the game and kind of going through the catalog. There's also, interestingly enough, I've been here. Some of the indie cards have been popular for people, since the wrestling card boom has kind of come in there. People are looking for rookie cards, and some people are saying, "Oh, actually Darby Allin's rookie card," because it was probably like the first card of anything of him made, which is kind of funny. Even though it's not the same size and it's an art versus photo, but it's kind of funny. All these different people finding us through different ways.
Yeah, yeah. Man, I had a question while you were talking, and it slipped out of my head. If it here's a question. Who has the best deal on shipping supplies? Is it Uline? Is that who you use?
Oh, I go through Uline. Yeah,
Uline. Yeah.
You got to go Uline. Yeah, and then one day shipping. Yeah, and you just have everything that you possibly want. It's great.
Yeah. Okay. For those of you who don't deal in shipping, you probably have no idea what we're talking about. But Uline is.
I just got a giant box yesterday over here, so yes.
Yeah, and you get that big catalog in the mail. That big phone book
I called
size.
them up. I'm like, can you stop sending this to me? I feel guilty getting this 2-inch thick catalog every couple of weeks. I'm like, I don't need it, and it's killing trees.
Yeah. This is the stuff I was hoping we would get into on the podcast. What is the most amount of packages you've mailed out in one day for Filsinger Games?
I don't think I've ever broken 200, but I've gotten pretty close.
Wow! Holy cow!
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Go
ahead.
That was probably the holidays last year, and then we all know what happened after that. So
right. Well, that was not your fault. Once they leave your hands. Do the people at the post office recognize you now when you go in?
Oh yeah. I know a lot of the some of them, some of the newer ones are nicer to me. Some of the other ones are like, oh god, it's him. He's back. What has he got for me today? And then, days when I come in with multiple customs forms to send stuff overseas, those are the days I feel really bad. And yeah.
And do you? Go ahead.
I am looking at other different ways of switching things up to make it a little easier on me, but yeah, that's one of the things that's tough to avoid.
Yeah, are you like me, like you're behind the person at the self-service kiosk and you're just like, come on, push the button. Like, I know how to use this. Push the button.
Just do it like this. You'll be
Yeah.
okay. Now, I do have to say, I like the old self-service kiosk much better than the new one.
The new
and then
one,
also the
yeah.
new one doesn't have a little shelf for you to put stuff on while you're weighing it out. I mean, there's just little
Right.
things that, if they consulted me, I would have been able to help on.
See, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to get this on any other Filsinger Games. The ins and outs of shipping. But talking about podcasts, you, of course, are one of the co-hosts of the Roll Up podcast. And my question is, who would win in a Tyrion triple threat match between you, Sam, and Mike?
Jeez. I'm gonna say Mike on this one because he's pretty wily and he's probably the most athletic, I think, of the three of us there. He's coaching soccer and stuff now. Like he's in tip top shape there. I think he'll kind of run circles around Sam and I, to be quite honest.
Do you think he would be in the mix, or he'd be one of those things where he'd let you two fight and then come in at the last minute and
he probably would. He'd probably try to convince us there's a good reason for us to start the fight before he jumps in. I'm sure. Yeah, he's very good at that. So yes.
Right, knowing he will take a 2-week vacation, right, and let you two do it by yourself, and then come in at the very what can we expect in the? I mean, you don't have to give away any spoilers, but in the weeks ahead on the Roll Up podcast, what can fans expect to listen?
I just kind of mapped out the whole kind of fall season here. I won't give away too many spoilers there as we go ahead, but we'll have definitely some new guests. We're going to cover a couple of different things. And I will tell you right now, the next week we're going to have a Legend Spotlight. I think we only did one of those so far. That was on Macho Man Randy Savage. We are going to do a Legend Spotlight on the Midnight Express.
Oh, very cool.
Kind of. So I figured with Beautiful Bobby, I know the Uncharted Territories had an awesome episode with a watch along and discussion about Beautiful Bobby, which was great. Highly suggest listening to that. But we want to do something too and just kind of go through the whole lineage of Jim Cornette's Midnight Express, all the different iterations and with our history and the different cards in Filsinger Games. I thought it was very appropriate. And we will have a special guest. Will be Travis Heckel will be on it. I couldn't think of a better person to have on to kind of help us break that down. So
yeah, that is fitting for sure. Now you are known as the tournament master. You run a lot of tournaments, and my question for you is, what tips do you have for putting together an entertaining tournament, both when you're playing Filsinger Games or, because I know you do a lot of like Christmas movie tournaments and things like that. So what's your secrets on putting together an entertaining tournament?
Yeah, and it's the same thing with some of the tournaments that I've done for some of the podcast ones recently too. Like I think that a big key for me is figuring out compelling first round matchups and kind of having something interesting to really vote on, and then kind of maybe structuring it towards where you think it's going to go to kind of keep on having the most compelling matchups until the end. Towards the end, it's a little bit tough to really predict, but if you have kind of some compelling things along the way and seed things out how you think it's going to go to kind of keep that's I think the way that the best structured tournament.
So you're would you put like the two big names against each other in the first round, or try and separate them as much as possible to try and get them at the end?
Part of me does kind of do the whole, keeping them apart. If I think that they're going to make it to there, now it really kind of depends on the tournament. If there's a reason for them to, it depends on really how I'm doing. Now, if I'm doing like a one-off tournament, I probably would structure it like that. But if I'm doing one as part of a Fed, there might be a storyline reason where they have to meet in the first round, and then it makes a more compelling story throughout versus just kind of having more of a competition, kind of figuring out from there who's the best of the characters, not necessarily having a long-term story impact. It's kind of a different way that you would want to do that.
Excellent. Well, there you go. There is advice from the tournament master himself. Now, switching gears again, because I'm all over the place with these topics. I know you are a fellow Walt Disney World fan, and I know you recently went and you rode the new rides there, including the new Star Wars ride, Rise of the Resistance. And I don't want to put out a lot of spoilers for people who haven't ridden it before, because I actually think for that ride, the less you know about it going in, the better it is. But do you feel the same, or are you one of those people who likes to watch a lot of ride videos before you go on a ride, or do you like to be completely surprised?
I like to be surprised. Yeah. And this was one that was really hard to be a surprise for a while. I mean, it's been out for a couple of years now. And, there's a couple podcasts that I'll listen to that would they maybe like have started talking about it. And I just have to like fast forward it and get through. And, if there's something else, my daughter was doing a lot of planning ahead of time for the thing, watched a lot of different vlogs, things like that. And anytime there was anything with it, I always had to avoid it because I'm like, I wanted to be completely not spoiled going in. So
Right, right. Well, and you did go on it. And what do you thumbs up, thumbs down? What did you think?
well, I'm going to tell you a story about what happened there. So so we if you've never gone through the experience of it, so it's a new thing with Disney where they are doing boarding groups that you have to pre-register for early in the day. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, you have to be on the app and try to get a boarding group, at least to kind of ensure yourself to be in there. They have another thing later on where you could be in the park at 1 and they have another one, but sometimes depending on what's going on, they might not get everybody on the ride. So, you want to get that one in the morning. And we had everything worked out, planned it or whatever. We were like right on there at 7 o'clock and like, 0.0000 got on there, got on boarding group 2. We're like, all right, we're all set, ready to go. We went into the park. We did the Millennium Falcon ride first, knowing we'd have enough time to do that and go on the Rise of Resistance. By the time we got to the Rise of Resistance, kind of went through some of the parts weren't working. Like we kind of skipped the first room that kind of tells you the whole storyline of like how you're kind of getting onto, I say you're getting on at one point, you're on a first order ship. How do you get there? Like we didn't know anything about that. We just kind of got skipped on, got into the line, and we're about to go into the main ride itself, and it breaks down.
Oh no!
So it's like, oh, all right. So we go out, we get a fast pass. So, okay, we got to come back again. We do a couple other rides around there, come back again, get on there. We finally go on the first part of it. We get to see the whole storyline part, which was awesome. How you get onto the ship. You're about to get to the same part we were, breaks down again. So then they're like, well, why don't you come back here? You can be in this like big room, and it's the room with all the first order troopers. There's like ships going by. It's a kind of a cool room, but we were there for like 40 some odd minutes. So if you see the profile picture on this video, that's one for me taken there, and I had a stormtrooper mask on that day. So so we went, they finally opened it back up. We go on there, we're on the ride for maybe like 15-20 seconds, for maybe like 30 seconds, breaks down again. We have to get off the ride. We get the fast pass, come back again later on a fourth time, and it breaks down again before we could get on it. We did eventually say, I will say guest services hooked us up. If you're nice to the people at Disney, they will be nice to you. They're all about fan, service. Again, like thing with me, it's all about, recovery from, things are going to go wrong. It's how you kind of handle that. And I think Disney does a great job. I like to think, I try to do my best job with Filsinger Games as well. But they had hooked us up with a couple of fast passes. We came back the next day, a couple of days later, because we're going to go to the Cantina, which I highly recommend. And if you're going to Disney, book it 60 days out, or else you will not get into the Cantina. You got to be ahead of time on that. So then, we did get to go on it, and it was an awesome experience. I just wish it wasn't sullied by, the first 4 times where it broke down.
Yeah. Because really, the first time you go on there, if you know nothing, it just blows your mind the entire
just experience
time.
It. The experience was fantastic and all the different parts of it. But it got sullied there, which was a bummer. But I'm glad in the end I did get to go on it, and highly recommend it.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a great ride. Well, finally, because we got some news we got to get to, but finally, I can't have a representative of Filsinger Games on without asking some sort of little spoilery type question. You and Mike have been sort of hinting about a surprise release that may be coming this fall. At least that's the impression I've got by listening to the podcast. You're like, there's something, we may have something, some sort of surprises. And I know you can't give any spoilers, and I'm not asking what that surprise is. I'm asking to just sort of categorize that spoiler, if you can, or that thing. And my question is this release something we may have heard about in previous discussions from FedHQ, for example? And I'm not saying this is what it is, like the Ringside Companion or new classic sets being added online, or is this something entirely new that we can expect? Or can you not say anything about it?
I can't say much at this point there. Okay. I will say It is not the ringside companion though. Right now, I'll at
Okay.
least give you that much. Right now, it's still in the plans, but it is not going to be a fall release. And I will say, stay tuned after pre-order night. We've done some podcasts pre-order night in the past. I think there'll be a couple things, discussing, what's available for pre-order that night, which could include a couple of different things there. So yeah, definitely check out next Friday night. I know you have a double header between the fan podcast and that podcast. So
Excellent. Well, we will look forward to that. And I didn't mean to put you on the spot if I did, but I'm an investigative journalist.
I get it. You are the Dave Meltzer of Filsinger Games. I said before, you're doing the hard investigation here. I appreciate.
There you go. Well, Todd, let's check out some of the news that we have going right now, because there is a lot of news coming out of Filsinger Games. And first, we're going to talk about Overkill is coming to the CWF. And great artwork here by Werner of the classic Overkill character. And as you know, Todd, I recently just ordered all the Future Shock sets, so I'm a little bit behind. But I know, I mean, I don't want you to have to repeat yourself from stuff you talked on Roll Up this week, but it's very exciting that Overkill is coming to Future Shock.
No, it's always great when you get a good character, especially an Aethrin always is a landmark thing, like we have some Aethrins already in there, but what is the connection here with Overkill? I think it's definitely very intriguing.
Yeah, for sure. So that will be in the Future Shock 2117 set. And now moving on to indies, a name that was announced just the other night is Orin Veidt, which, if I'm saying it right, thanks to Zeke's pronunciation on the board, who is in the Deathmatch set. Now, I will have to admit, I do not know much about this gentleman. And the pictures I looked up on YouTube, this was the one picture I found where it was not laying in a bloody pile of broken glass and stuff like that.
Yeah, obviously the reference we had, was a more bloodier picture, but we decided, just with this one here that you probably just go more of a, since he is a technical and a deathmatch wrestler, just kind of use one that can kind of be used for either way.
Excellent.
But yeah, and it's Orin Veidt, best I know. Yeah, so. Yeah. Or did you say wait? Oh, it's so confusing. But that's okay.
Well, yeah, Zeke on the board said it rhymes with night, so I'm assuming.
Okay, yeah, so Orin Veidt.
That's
that's what he told me at first. So yes.
So Orin, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
Well, he is a game player, and he plays other role playing games. So he was very excited about getting a card in the game, and I think that was definitely another reason to make sure we got him in this set. It is a 6-card set, so it is a little bit smaller than some of the other indie releases. But I think having someone that really appreciates it, I think is kind of the tipping point to make sure we include him in the game.
Well, and then you've got it is 6 cards, but you also got that Promoter Prime coming out as well, which is bumped up to 4.
We got some fun stuff coming there too.
Yeah,
some fun stuff coming in Promoter Prime. Yeah.
So there you go. So there is your indies announcement, and then announced just right before we went on air, a big name here, Doug Somers, Pretty Boy Doug Somers, perfect tag team partner for Playboy Buddy Rose, who was announced last week. And I remember watching Rose and Somers on AWA on ESPN, and I think that was maybe a little bit of their later run, but just super fun to watch, and a great name for the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think we were putting together the Pacific Northwest names. Yeah, obviously he did a stint there, but maybe not as much. But I think just having him with Buddy Rose, I think it was a no-brainer to make sure we included them together in this set.
Yeah, and then it's fun to, because Buddy Rose was in his robe, and then you see Doug in his jacket, and then you see this picture that I just Google searched, and it's like, oh yeah, they fit together perfectly as a tag team if you want to use them that way, just in the looks department. So, it just and great artwork by our friend Werner.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and actually, this was the reference picture for Doug Somers, and I had him. Can you have him face forward? Which it's sometimes tough to kind of make those adjustments, and Werner, as always, does a great job.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, the Legends 4-pack, the Future Shock 2117, and the Indies Deathmatch 2021 all go up for pre-order 1 week from tonight. So you will want to make sure that you are refreshing the page all day. So put as much load on the Filsinger Games servers as possible, so we bring down the website, and I'm very much looking forward to it. Well, now we have to get to the match of the show, and if you were watching last week, of course, we had Bounty Hunter and Seige, and Bounty Hunter kind of getting himself intentionally disqualified in order to retain the podcast grand championship. So I decided this week we would have a cosmic cage match. That's what would be, and the main purpose of that is sort of to keep Dark Menace and Reynard Beguile from interfering. And I'm happy to have Todd on sort of color commentary here as we go through this. So Bounty Hunter, the champion, Seige. And of course, I booked this Cosmic Cage match before I realized that Bounty Hunter, before I remembered that Bounty Hunter has a cage rating of 4. So I'm not 100% sure on his chances in this, but I guess we will see. Do you have a prediction here, Todd, before we go into it?
I mean, this doesn't look good for the champion here. I mean, he's not going to be able to pull any shenanigans, getting himself disqualified or counted out. Seige has a big advantage here. This is going to be tough. This is going to be real tough.
Yeah, and with Reynard Beguile not at ringside, his finisher is only a 0. So really a disadvantage for Bounty Hunter.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now Thad Killian here, he does have a prediction.
What does he say? Pain. That is the prediction. All right, well, we're rolling for initiative, and it looks like Seige gets the initiative to start things off here and hits the big ground attack 3 to start things off, rocking Bounty Hunter, who is down 3. Oh, this could be the shortest cage match ever. He hits the 8th ring crippler. Oh, no, it's a +2 move, which means the target will be 6. And the roll is an 8. So he's not out yet. Bounty Hunter able to kick out, but Seige in control. Diving headbutt choice G. His death jump is a G. And his power, I think he's going to have to go for the death jump. Come on, it's a cage match, right?
Yeah, go for the death jump.
You got to climb up to the top. So death jump here. The opponent climbs the top, you recover. Climb up, a struggle takes place. Better agility rating. They're equal. So Seige is going to take that. Throw Bounty Hunter off the top. Roll on level 3 offense. Again with the choice G. So again, he will go up. And a big flying clothesline from the top. Bounty Hunter in trouble. Seige rolls on level 3 offense, hits the gladiator pile driver. We're rolling the pin. The target here will be 5, and the roll is another 8. So able to kick out Bounty Hunter, but not doing well. And there is a deadlift suplex with a choice D. That would work on a 6 or less. Todd, I'll leave this up to you. Will he go for that, or will he play it safe and go for the one that'll work on the agility move?
I think he's going to go for the power move. He's just trying to put him away as fast as he can. I think he's going for the power move.
So he wants a 6 or less to make this work. Gets an 8.
Oh, backfires on him.
So Bounty Hunter recovers, and he rolls the choice F. Which you don't want to roll the power move for Seige, because that's going to work on a 2 or less. So he will need a 7 here to get this to work. Rolls a 6. He gets it. Seige rolls on level 2, and it just dazes him. Full Nelson by Bounty Hunter.
That's not going to get the job done, no.
Yeah, Seige just dazing him. Into the turnbuckle goes Seige. The opponent tries for a running clothesline, but you move and he crashes into the turnbuckle. He rolls the pin. Could this be it? Let's see. The target is 6. The roll is a 7. Bounty Hunter hanging in there. He's got the fight.
Amazing.
All right. Seige is going to roll level 3 offense out of the ring. So that's face into cage 3. Down 3. Nowhere to leave. You can't leave, Bounty Hunter. So sorry. Choice G again. Gonna go for that death jump.
It's got to get it eventually.
Eventually, you would think. Blast you with a big flying clothesline. You're in trouble. Opponent rolls on level 3 offense. Again, rolling this choice G. Going to the top. And another big clothesline. Seige looking for his finisher. He's got 2 for Pete's sake. Not rolling either of them. Does he go for the power move again? It didn't work last time.
Yeah, it didn't work for him last time. Does he go back to the well? You know what? Maybe he should take the safe route here.
All right, he'll take the safe route. He just needs a 9 or less on this. And gets a 5, so he gets it. Bounty Hunter rolls on 2. Hurt 2. Siege Stunner, add 1. Not good. Bounty Hunter is not doing good here. Hurt 2. Claw hold 2. Bounty Hunter reversing it on level 1. What's the chat saying? What's the word in the chat?
So we got here from after further review, Steve Towers says, put him in a body bag.
Well, Siege reversing the full Nelson, just powering out of it. Hits a running choke slam 3 on Bounty Hunter. Only a hurt 2. Into the turnbuckle goes Bounty Hunter. You're crushed by a big kick. Opponent rolls on level 2 offense. A running choke slam 3. Down 3. This is where Siege... There he goes. The 8th ring crippler.
Now, question before you run it, was he enhanced by the Dark Menace before this, or is that not happening in this
I'm
one?
saying that there is I'm saying that there's
no managers came out.
No managers,
yeah.
And I've always wondered that if the Dark Menace could enhance somebody before they go out. But when I was talking to Tom, I think it was a tweet Tom said like, oh, well, that sounds like a match where Dark Menace wouldn't be allowed at ringside. So I kind of got the impression that, at least in Tom's mind, which I always consider official, is that Dark Menace has to be at ringside. But again, it's always up to you, promoter.
Absolutely. That's what
well, let's roll this and see. It is going to be a +2. The target is 10. The roll is a 7. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and the new podcast grand champion is Siege. So who would you like to see Siege fight next week? You can let me know in the comments, and we will get that match going for you next week.
Is this our first Aetherin champion of the show?
Ooh, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I know Wolf... I don't know if Wolf... I thought Wolf was champion at least, or I know he challenged. I don't think
we had a lot
wasn't
of challengers there. Well,
Yeah,
glad
yeah.
Aetherin Army is represented here on the championship lineage.
I think so. All right. Well, there you go. Let us know who you think Siege should fight next week. And that is the match of the show. Question of the show from last week was, who is one classic Champions of the Galaxy character you'd love to see an alternate version of in Future Shock CWF? And we got some fun answers here. Mark Ferguson says Pulsar should show up in Future Shock. Chad Olson said Pit Viper or Rising Sun. I think 2 great choices there from Chad. And I love ScottyBoy9999 gives his whole reasoning. For question of the show, I would like Dreadnought officially resurrected elsewhere. I know we already have Zombie Dreadnought, but that doesn't really seem official. I can imagine maybe a Dreadnought that didn't die so soon and just kept getting put through the Transevolver every couple of years. Maybe in an alternate reality, it was a better machine and less dangerous to long-term health. I love that idea. That's a great idea. Do you have anyone, Todd, that you would love to see in come up in Future Shock?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's nobody I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, I'm glad to see we're having at least Overkill come in. I don't know. There's probably some
Paragon.
other Aetherins too. Who knows? Paragon coming in. Like a couple of those guys from that time period. Yeah, I don't have anybody. I mean, I trust Mike to kind of pick the right guys to bring in. He's has a great roster, so I'm just gonna go with whatever Mike says.
Yeah, excellent. Well, let's move on to the question of the show for this week. And Todd, I'm very eager for your answer to this question. Who do you think will be the Legends name announced when pre-orders start next week? I'm just kidding. I know you can't answer. You can't answer that question. But that is the question of the show. So let me know in the comments below who you think. Elsewhere on the YouTube channel, I have an unboxing video that just came out today for a new game mat that I ordered for my Champions of the Galaxy Fed. So you can check that out. And by popular demand, I've put up a couple card and dice play game videos for my Champions of the Galaxy Fed. So if you want to check those out, those are on the channel. Check out the other Filsinger Games podcast, Uncharted Territory, the Dizzy Dice podcast, great gameplay videos from Steve Tower after further review, and Heartland Championship Wrestling. And Todd, would you like to give a plug for Roll Up, the official Filsinger Games podcast?
No, absolutely. Definitely check us out. We drop pretty much every Thursdays. Occasionally we'll change around the day if it's necessary, and we will have a special one next Friday night. Definitely check us out there.
Excellent. You can find that at filsingergames.com. There's a button right on the front page that says podcast, and anywhere you get your podcasts. Finally, my last thing is, this has nothing to do with Filsinger Games, but for those of you that don't know, I have a puppet character that has over 2 million followers on TikTok. And so last year we did a plush of that character, and this year we're doing a plush of one of his friends who is a loofah sponge. And so we are doing a fundraising campaign for a loofah plush puppet. And I'm just trying to get as many eyes on this as possible. Go to thetoilet.com/plush, and you can help us raise money and get yourself a loofah plush puppet. The last one sold out in record time, and people still want them, and they're all sold out. We don't have any more. So if you want to get one, that's where you can go to get that. Again, not Filsinger Games related. But
is there an actual toilet plush as well?
That was the one last year that is sold out. That is unable to. We can't get any more. So don't miss out on this one. Well, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. There is an audio version of this podcast that's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio. Just search for this is my tip. Search for Filsinger Games in your favorite podcast app and subscribe to every podcast that comes up. That's what you need to do.
That's a great idea.
You will have content all week. If you would like, if you have a topic you would like the show to cover, leave it in the comments. Make sure to watch or subscribe or follow, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, and follow GWF Promoter on Twitter. We did have an Instagram account till just recently, but it was just too much to keep up, so I just went back to Twitter. If you want to check out my personal feds, you can go to gwfpromoter.com and lowpromoter.com. The theme song is American Guy by Throwing Toasters, used by permission and available on Apple Music, Spotify, and anywhere you get your music. This podcast is not affiliated in any way with Filsinger Games or its subsidiaries. It's purely for entertainment purposes. Todd, I want to thank you so much for coming and being on the show here tonight. It was great, and I would love to have you back on sometime.
That was my absolute pleasure, Grant. Thanks for having me on. Great to, be on here. And I think you do a great job bringing all the news to everybody. I love the match of the week. Glad to be able to witness a new champion tonight. Definitely a lot of fun. And, I look forward to seeing you definitely when we have our next virtual convention too. So.
Absolutely. I will be there. And I'm already making plans for the TNT Hall of Fame and Galacticon. So if I can keep my schedule free for that, I will be there as well. So Todd, have a great weekend. Thank you for everything. And everyone, please go check out Roll Up, because it's a great show. And that'll do it. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. A great 3-day weekend. If you're here in the States, if you're not, just have a great weekend. Bye, everybody. We will talk to you later.
Ladies